All right. Machiwa. Just testing everything. Testing. Okay. We got lights, camera, action. Welcome, everybody. Welcome to this transmission of spirit, to this conversation about reality, about the matrix, what the Guardian teachings call the time matrix. Now, while that time could be or is an illusion, not real as we think of it, however, we make reference to the time matrix or to time. But just remember in the back of your mind, while we're using watches and clocks, time doesn't exist the way we think. Even space doesn't exist. Everything is all taking place in the same space within the consciousness of Source, within the unified field of God. God Source, God Force, Creator. And also one of the peculiar aspects of creation of our 15-dimensional time matrix is that it's completely made of consciousness. Okay? And notice I just mentioned 15-dimensional. That means there's 15 dimensions. And the first thing I need to clarify is we don't mean like measurements, like width, height, width, length, or height. This is temporal dimensions, not sizes or measurement dimensions. These, so just like many words have more than one meaning, well, the word dimension has more than one meaning. And we're not talking about measuring something. We're talking about, it's literally frequency bandwidths of consciousness, of reality. Every one of these bandwidths have their own frequency at different speeds. And so these are something that creates their own reality. I mean, not like something that's not, it's, we describe it as separate, but it's not really separate. But if you're in one dimension, you're not going to just simply travel to another dimension or go through, like you see in Star Wars or Star Trek, light speed, like travel for a long time. How long is it going to take? Are we there yet? Right? To get to another dimension. It doesn't work that way. You actually get to one place to another place in the, another frequency bandwidth, another dimension through portals and stargates. And there is a difference, by the way, between portals and stargates. Portals are explained to take you to another time space within the same universe. So let's say you have one universe that you exist within. Well, there's many different timelines, and then you can jump through different timelines within that universe. So in this cosmology of the Guardian teachings, which my channel is all about, they talk about there being 5 universes, and they're within each other. Like we have, let's say, the 5th universe being the biggest, the highest encoded, the highest consciousness. Well, the other 4 universes are within each other. Okay, ours being the lowest, the smallest. So the universes would be kind of like going out. Okay, but one of the concepts to understand is, let's take, for example, the 2nd universe. We're inside of that. Our universe, the 1st universe, is within the 2nd universe. And so our universe includes everything within it. But the 2nd universe includes everything within it, and also that which is within the 1st universe, because the 1st universe is a part of the 2nd universe. And the 2nd universe is part of what the greater 3rd universe. And then the 4th universe, which is all inside of the 4th, which the 4th and all of its other smaller universes are within the greater fifth universe. They include. It's the same thing with the concept with dimensions, temporal dimensions. The 10th dimension has 9 and all the ones below it. The 9th has all the dimensions between 1 and 8, or 1 and 9. 8 is 1 through 8, 7, 1 through 7. So, and these are also corresponding to DNA templates. So the 10th dimension would be the 10th DNA strand. And so if you have 10 strands, you have within that all the other strands with underneath it. So it's all part of the whole. Everything is interconnected. Everything is intrinsically part of the one. And so we go through, as consciousness, through levels of this creation and experience, our spiritual journey through different levels of creation. Now, this is a live, so let me make sure everything's... thank you, Drop of Frame. Good to see you, Holy One. I'm just making sure you guys can see me and hear me okay. Zeo Quartz, good point, right? Because he just mentioned what is an issue in New Age, because most of the New Age teachings tell you there's only 7 chakras, 7 dimensions, 7 whatever, so that's only half, or a little bit less than half of 15 dimensions. And so there's definitely some distortion in those other systems. And you will find that some of that is intentional distortions. While many people who are, mean well, and maybe they don't know better, or the whole, topic of the creation, they will still be caught up in some of the inverted teachings, reverse light teachings. So, a lot of people, like even myself, I was caught up in those, entangled in those teachings, and because I didn't know better until later, I realized the actual reality, the actual truth of what's happening, and I saw how and why all those other false teachings I was, caught up in were actually not helping me, but hurting me, harming me, making me distorted in my own thoughts. One of the first things that I got caught up in was that whole chosen one idea, which is coming from the dark side. The Guardians don't talk anything about chosen ones, the chosen one, or chosen ones. That is a distorted concept because of the sacred universal law of one. We're all one. There's no such thing as chosen ones in the law of one. It is beings in the lower dimensions who forgot the one, or the unity of creation, and now they think there's something that is favored or better or more evolved than something else, when in reality everything is part of source God. Everything is God. And so God is experiencing itself in many different states of being, in many different levels of itself, of consciousness, of energy, frequency. And so there's many aspects, many parts, many fragments of God that make up the totality of God. And so it's impossible to be separate from God. But that's exactly what religions tell you, and other spiritual beliefs may tell you. And so when God is omnipresent, omni means all, presence everywhere. Omnipresent, God is everywhere. But people who speak that, like in religion, they'll say God is omnipresent, but then they say God is not in non-believers. God is not in an animal or a plant or anything like that. So, okay, so it is Source who created all existence, created all life, all beings. It's all part of God. God doesn't create something and put it somewhere outside itself, because God is here, God is there, God is everywhere. You can't be somewhere where God isn't. You can't escape God if you wanted to. Well, why would you want to? Right? So we're all part of the one. And that means lower beings, higher beings, we're all part of the one. The good, positive, loving beings, hateful, murderous, negative beings are still part of the God. There's nowhere you can go. You can't go to some black hole, some void. You can't go to some secret places or some non-spatial places. It's still, all those examples are all part of God. And so part of tonight's topic is telling you about the structure of reality, which is a whole series of systems, energy systems. And you'll hear even in, for example, Kathara Biospiritual Healing, one of the workshops in these teachings, one of many workshops, that the universe is actually broken down in itself into different levels. So we have the particle matrix, we have the antiparticle matrix, and we have something called the phantom matrix. So these are all locations or places, or only separate by frequency, not separate, but like in its own space, kind of like where beings can experience individuality, and in those individual experiences realize that there's parts of you in other places of creation happening at the same time as you're existing in this space. And so you may have heard terms like 5D, 3D. Those are, D stands for dimension, the fifth dimension, the third dimension. But remember, this is not measurement. This is temporal dimensions, another reality level of creation. And so another thing I have to address is that there's other teachings, other belief systems who think there's less dimensions, or they think there's more dimensions. You guys, this is not an opinion. And also, it's not my own personal ideas or opinions. This is based on the spiritual science of the Emerald Order Freedom Teachings, which is, the books are part of it. There's 3 books here: Angelic Realities, Voyagers 1, Voyagers 2. But this is the print part. But there's many workshops that where the teachings are coming through. And so it's broken down in great detail. The time matrix, that's what the Guardians call it. They also call it the hologram of matter. Hologram of matter. So realize that there's levels of dimensions, but there's also levels of matter. So it's a hologram system, a holographic universes, a holographic multiverse, where holographic beings who exist within this hologram of matter. So it doesn't make it not real. We're experiencing it. We're here. We're real beings, real consciousness. Okay? There's no such thing as NPCs. That's ridiculous. One of those ridiculous comical psyops. Okay? Everything is real. Everything is God. There's no such thing as void or emptiness or blackness, because it's all created based on particle, based on ultramicroparticles, which themselves are made of consciousness. So if consciousness creates our particles, and those particles create everything else, well, that's how you can see and understand everything is made of consciousness. There's no such thing as something that's, physical. It's all the illusion of physicality. And by the way, it's also the illusion of individuality. Because if you're part of the unified field, there's no such thing as individuals. It is the illusion of individuals. We're all part of the same identity. we're all part of the same source. We're all coming from Creator, God force, God source. And so we're all, we were all given free will. And so in the 15-dimensional time matrix, there are all kinds of beings using their free will to follow the original design, intention of source, God. Or even if they don't do it mindfully or consciously, they can also go against the original intention of source. And so there is a divine right order. So there can be some people who are incorrect when it comes to this topic of the time matrix. And so, for example, Gnosticism is incorrect, inaccurate, because they explain that the creation is created by a negative God, a negative aspect. You see, you already know that is distortion. God is extremely positive and loving and good. So when you start seeing negative aspects, you understand that is not Creator. That is one of the beings who exists within the Creator's creation, who had free will to become distorted, to become confused, lost maybe, and say these distorted concepts. And so, but God is good, God is love, God does not judge. That's a negative thing. God doesn't kill or destroy. Those are negative things. Okay? So that is that is how all this creation was originally designed, within love, within the sacred universal unity and Christ consciousness. So when you got teaching saying the opposite, that it's a negative creation and that there's something wrong with you and you're in a sinful nature, you were born with it, that is all distortion. Those are all false teachings, inverted teachings. And so, and while I say there is divine right order, one of the divine right order is that there's only 15 dimensions. There is any system who says otherwise is a distorted point of view, coming out of these, most likely these fallen angelic narratives and creation stories. So what we need to do is have this discernment and have this memory, because it's not just relying on, well, these books or some teacher like Ashiana, the speaker one, or me, or anyone else who's teaching the Christic teachings. So this is always based on the law of one, and there is a whole, several pages of text regarding the law of one, and they talk about divine right order. So it's not an opinion. People will have all kinds of opinions on what is God, what is the creation that we're talking about tonight, what are angels, what are, there's all kinds of different opinions. Obviously, some people are inaccurate. And so there is a specific truth. If you think there's all kinds of truths, that's the first distortion. There is one singular source truth. So it isn't any ETs or humans' opinions about what is this or what is that. There is a literal spiritual science to these teachings. And that is part of tonight's topic, is understanding some of those physics, okay, some of those mechanics, Templar mechanics, consciousness mechanics, dimensional mechanics. So part of that, for example, is the concept of Particle phasing, or Particle units, Particle grids. These are scalar mechanics. This is morphogenetic science, Keylontic science. The Keylontic is regarding Keylons and Keylon codes, which is all part of the creation of the time matrix. Now, when you go beyond the time matrix, beyond what's called, this is the primal light fields, we're seeing through light. and color. So the color, the light, is a spectra. There's many different light spectra that create the time matrix, that create your chakra system, that create your light body system. These are frequencies. Every color is a different frequency, and once again, that is also not an opinion. For example, this is the color blue. If you go to the Google search and look for the blue chakra, they don't put it color blue, do they? There's a spectrum of blues, and there's one true blue for the 5th chakra. And then there's darker blues, there's lighter blues, that's not, or greenish blues, it's not the right spectra. Dimensional spectra matters. The color matters. It's not opinion. You got Hindu opinion, Buddhist opinion, other New Age opinions. No, there's no opinion. There's a specific frequency for all of these dimensional systems, and when you get it, when you tweak it, or let's say you're imagining the color or the chakra, and it's the wrong color, you're not connecting to what you think you're connecting or want to connect. So the Guardians say that, for example, the dimensional 1 light spectra or the chakra color is red, orange, yellow, green, blue. Not sky blue, not navy blue, not a dark blue or pastel blue. Blue. Okay? It's same with this. This is not purple. This is not violet. You could say blue-violet, but the correct term would be indigo. Indigo. Blue, indigo. This is violet. And this is gold, a gold chakra, right where your thymus is. And then the thalamus, which has to do with the brain, is silver. And so beyond the silver dimensional spectra or chakra is the dark blue. That is dark blue. It's called blue-black in the Kathara manual. And then there's silver-black or dark silver, however you want to word it, as long as you're seeing the correct color. And so thank you for those hearts, whoever's sending those hearts. Bless you, Holy One. And then there's pure white. You can't get that one wrong. Black or white. You can imagine those colors. It's hard to get those wrong. But that is 6 inches below your feet. Okay? And so this is a science, you guys. And when it comes to beings traveling in the 15-dimensional time matrix within the multiverse of density matter, well, this is a science to them that they use regularly. They understand Kalantic science, Particle, morphogenetic science, scalar mechanics. This is not supernatural, it's natural in those higher dimensional fields. And so what happens is we have this entire time matrix system, and it's populated by beings who exist beyond it. So it is the beings in the Kundalini or the primal sound fields who populate the primal light fields. So sound is primordial to light. But you're going to have sound also in the time matrix of light spectra. And so this is why there's technologies that are extremely powerful based on sound frequencies. You can destroy things, you can create things with sound. And understand that frequencies of sound create cymatics, which are geometrical sacred geometries. Even ones you've never seen before, you're going to see these geometries. And even when you go on plant medicine, such as psilocybin mushrooms, you will see these geometries in creation. Like, some people may not know the spiritual science, but they say, wow, I saw all kinds of sacred geometries. It's part of the base level of creation. It's in the Keylontic codes. And so those geometries are sacred. They're the fundamental primal structure, substance. And so this is a teaching being returned back to us by the guardians. Okay, there is a record. Some beings in creation do remember, are holding that memory, and are sharing those truths. Because our mainstream science, the human science, is BS, is distorted, is limited. Our mainstream science, our human science, doesn't even acknowledge or hasn't found the soul yet. How much can you trust that science? And then you have people who are mocking any of these discussions of galactic science or scalar or morphogenetic science or the science of creation, because they think it's all, well, I mean, not all people, because there is some of the quantum scientists who understanding frequency, understanding that it's all based on levels of frequency, or I mean, they don't go as far as saying consciousness or talk about God, because they still don't believe in God. But then people will eventually come to the conclusion that this is all sourced from something. So people are starting to awaken to this, because when you understand the 15-dimensional time matrix, you understand yourself. You understand all your different parts, your higher selves, your higher consciousness, your family of consciousness. That is multidimensional. Multi, that means more than one dimension. Remember, we talked about dimensions. We're in the third. Well, you have a fourth dimensional self, a fifth dimensional self, and it's more accurate to say selves, plural, because the guardians give a specific number. Remember, this is a spiritual science. It can have specific numbers, like 1728. You have 1,728 life incarnations in different time vectors. See, while the time is an illusion, the guardians still use the word time themselves. In the time matrix, there is smaller time cycles. Within time cycles, you have time continuums. And within time continuums, you have time vectors. Now, from our perspective in the first universe, one dimension, let me double check that so I'm accurate. In my 15-dimensional time matrix diagram, let me pull that up, actually. But first, let me say hello to everybody, because this is the live, and then we'll get right into the 15-dimensional time matrix diagram to explain some of these concepts. But I just want to remember that I was trying to find out how many years is a dimension in the first universe. So let me make sure I have that open so I can, let me see, Aquion, images, Christos avatar, graphics. There's some diagram here that could help, so. Yeah, so I found some older diagram, but it still shows you what I wanted to show you. And so let me, oh wait. Okay, so we got a question already. Thank you, Giannis. My beautiful fiance is helping me with your guys' questions. Don Quayle, 36. What's the difference between dimensions and universe? Okay, so you will be the first question that I answer. And And I have this open so I remember to show you the years on the dimensions and time continuums and time vectors. So thank you, Julia, but for that, by the way. Looks like there's a lot of comments now coming in. We got Charlene Howley. Greetings, Holy One. Good to see you, sister. Blessings to you and your positive vibes. We got Steve Vargas. Good evening, everyone. Sandra Payment. What's up, sister? How you doing? We got Snappy Streams. Hello to you. We got Drop of Flame, my Chihuahua Gangster of Light. Christic Love. What's up, sister? Dan, brother. Legend Light 333, Paulette Thompson. Oh, thanks you. This is a power, I guess, lightning strike. Duel of the Lionheart. Good evening, brother Anhazi and Cosmic Fam. Peace and blessings. Thank you for being here, Julia, Giannis 1111. Freedom Teachings, you said it. Dropping truth, right? Voya the Toya in the house. Yeah, it's summertime. It's going to be hot, especially in the West. I live my life a lot in Arizona and Nevada. They're both hot deserts. Nevada is close to the Death Valley. What a name, right? El Fontana, we got this. You said it, homie. Zeo Quartz. Yeah, music is powerful because we're talking about sound being primordial to light. I mean, I personally believe that there's so much more that we have to learn about that. There's so many more principles and so, but welcome Tvilekas. It's hard to pronounce your username, but welcome from South Africa. Good morning to you. All right. Good to have you with us. And so, yeah, you guys, let me show the time matrix diagram. And I just want to say that this diagram, I sell the diagram because that's how I make a living. One of the ways, small ways I make a living. So, and it's definitely worth it because it has so much data on this diagram that you're about to see. And this is the 2026 version. So if you guys have the 2025 or 2024, even the 2023 one, this diagram has come a long way. So the one I'm using tonight is the most recent one. So you guys, it's worth the $20. Take a look. That's just the download. I also sell the poster and I also sell a wall hanging of this diagram. So it helps you learn these teachings and it helps me teach these principles that are pretty, can be complicated. So, and just so you know that the original time matrix diagram is extremely simplified. And that is the one that I first originally started to build out. I wanted to colorize it and add things from the teachings, not from my own ideas, but all the information on that diagram is coming from the teachings, including the alien races that I listed. I mean, I could list all kinds of alien races, but I'm only listing the ones from, the ones that are being discussed in the human drama from the Christos point of view. So let me show that diagram and explain the difference between dimensions and densities or universes, because there is a difference. So I'll switch it over to the 15-dimensional time matrix diagram, which I created. My Chihuahua. Now this is a spiritual science. It's all based on consciousness. Now let me get this hand tool. So the Guardians call it the time matrix, the 15-dimensional time matrix. It's also called the Universal Templar complex. So I just want to say there's a difference between the cosmos and a universe. A universe is there's in our multiverse there's 5 of them. 5 universes. Okay? The universes are within the cosmos energy matrix. See, the cosmos is beyond the time matrix. And there's those primal sound fields and primal light fields I mentioned. And notice there's no Templar or chakras there, because this is the sound system, primal sound fields. This is the light system, primal light fields. These are the different light spectra from the top to the bottom. Pale magenta, light spectra. Pale gold, pale turquoise. White, remember that's that dark silver. Let me show you, I want to correlate this with the chakras system at the same time. Let me pull that up for you guys as well, which is also on my website, and we give those links to this diagram if one of the moderators will share it, the 15 chakra diagram. And I improved it. I used AI to make it the file size a lot bigger, like in megabytes instead of kilobytes, and also to increase the focus, because the ones online are not very focused very well. So I improved it. Where am I looking for this, man? Sorry guys, it's on my web. Oh nah, I got this. We got this. Websites, Christos avatar, 15 chakras. There we go. Okay, so yeah, pale magenta, pale yellow, pale turquoise. Even though it doesn't say pale here, it is pale. All those 3 top ones are pale. So remember I told you there is a correspondence to your chakras and the dimensions. The dimensions are frequency bandwidths. All these levels of your light body are those different frequency bandwidths. Light spectra. These are all different light spectra within. This is what you are. This is what you really are. Okay? And see the red one? That's the first one. And notice it's the closest to the body compared to all the other ones. So when you talk about people's aura, well, that's what these are. They're spheres within spheres around within and around your body. So it permeates you and goes beyond you, and that's what is you, your multidimensional self. You have most humans are only operating within the first lower 3 chakras. Okay? Red, orange, yellow. Red is really near your butt chakra, the root chakra it's called. And well, what does the Guardians call it? Well, it has the numbers listed D. Remember I told you they use the word blue black, silver black. Okay? Or instead of saying dark blue, for example, they say blue black. And notice how you can say blue violet for indigo, because notice blue D6. No, D5. Blue is D5, violet is D7. So in between blue and violet is blue violet. That's the logic behind that, which is literally you mix blue and violet, you get indigo. CK, chakra 6, chakra 7, chakra 9, but also dimension. See, dimension 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. All the chakras and the colors of the chakras It's all related to dimensions, and they all have their own unique colors. And so this is, you would say, a connection. The root chakra is connected to the first dimension. The orange chakra is connected to the second dimension, C2, chakra 2. Chakra 3, it's not your navel. This is the solar plexus area. The navel is lower. Okay? People think the chakra is behind the freaking navel. That's a distortion. It's not. It's called solar plexus for a reason. It's not called navel chakra. It's called the solar plexus chakra. Okay? And this is the, these are levels of your consciousness, by the way. Multidimensional levels of your consciousness. And this is where most humans are. These three. Remember the time matrix is one universe? I mean, this is dimensions 1, 2, and 3 is one universe. Those are those chakras. Your chakras of your light body is connected to these experiences, these memories. If you're walking in this third dimension as a human, you also have the experiences from the second dimension time. Look at the time from 4622 BC. Chakra 1 starts from 13,474 BC. If you got your activated heart chakra, now we're talking around 4230 AD up to 21,000 AD. Okay, 5D is around, look where 5D is. 5D is around 21,000 to 39,000 AD. 6D is between 39 and 57 AD. So you imagine those are lifetimes that you live in those periods of time. And these chakra are, your light body is coming from those time periods you lived in this universe. Between this year span, between 13,000 BC to the future of 4230 AD. Right now we're close to this area. A little bit past this area. There's 2,200 years between here and there. We're not done with this time cycle. Okay. Oh wait, I don't have that open, so let me open a different one too. I wonder if I have. This is an older diagram. This is the color diagram. So I don't see it, so. All right. So I go back to the time matrix. It's called the hologram of matter, Universal Templar Complex. 950 billion years old. Okay? Since it is based on the law of one, everything is in the unified field. It's all connected as one God, one self, one love, one thought, one heart, one mind, one form. There isn't multiple gods. Do you understand? When this is the reality of creation, it's one being. There isn't a you or a me. There isn't a they or a we. There is only the one, experiencing itself as many different, unlimited amount of different beings. All those beings are the one. Remember, it's all consciousness. Think of your dream state. These are levels of frequency. You're experiencing frequency. Well, God is frequency in many different forms. And all those forms are part of this whole. And so this is the 15-dimensional time matrix system where the ascended masters, remember, see, they're above the time matrix. It is these beings, what the guardians call Ayani. No, that's the indigos. I mean, Yanis. Specifically, this level is the Grande Yanis. Or no, Ramayanas. Triadic level is the Ramayanas. Polaric level is the Vachayanas. And singular, the Grande Yanis. Or you just use to represent all three of these, Janus. It is the Janus beings, or ascended master beings, if that's better, easier for you to pronounce or understand. It is ascended master, Janus, ascended master beings who came into and populated the time matrix. We are all Janus, man. Every single one of us. This is why there is no such thing as someone better or a chosen or higher, when we're all God, and God is all of these Janus, and all of these Janus populated our time matrix at the highest levels, 950 billion years ago, according to these Guardians' teachings, which is the Emerald Order CDT plate teachings, based on the sacred universal law of one, which I'm showing you how it's all one. All this is, when you come down here, you have a personal, individual consciousness, the perception of being individual. Okay, when your psychic abilities are blocked, you don't perceive your family of consciousness. You just perceive your own thoughts. Well, eventually you will become psychic. You'll have your ESP turned on, extra sensory perceptions, and you will perceive your other selves. But the truth is, we're not an individual. We are a super consciousness. I mean, this is one level. I'm getting this stupid thing again. Let me close this and reopen it, because I can't. It bothers me, so it might bother you. So I didn't make any changes. What are you asking me, Fato? It's asking me to save changes. I didn't make changes. What are you talking about? So yeah, so I forgot where I was going to explain, but anyways, the levels of consciousness. Notice I got the time dates going up diagonally, and then there's these levels of consciousness from individual to super consciousness to causal or planetary consciousness to galactic consciousness to universal consciousness, and then finally, when you return back to Source God, into the cosmic level, you're at the cosmic consciousness. Okay, but you're always a cosmic consciousness. It's just that when you go into the time matrix, it literally breaks you into 1,728 identities, but those identities are always part of your original avatar. And the avatar is part of one of these ascended master groups. We're all ascended masters. A rock is an ascended master form originally. An animal, a plant, an insect is originally an ascended master. It is a piece of one of these avatars. If you're a rock in the first universe, well, that's connected to some DNA family or template that's higher beings in consciousness, and those are connected to its higher levels of consciousness. And then there's others and those are connected to these higher levels, and these levels are connected to the higher levels, and these beings are the ones connected to the ascended master, Janus. So we're all Janus. So if you got people hating each other, it's the illusion of individuals arguing and hurting each other, when it's really just two fragments of Source God who forgot each other, forgot itself, forgot the one self. So you'll get all kinds of religion people say you're separate from God. It is impossible. They're not teaching this in the Bible or scripture. You're not learning creation mechanics. You're told the universe was created in 7 days and blah, 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 all this nonsense. First of all, there's no such thing as time. There's no such thing as days. These were created 950 billion years ago, and it's a cycle. it's going to not repeat, but start a new cycle. And all these are cycles. Let me see. What was the other file I had? Diagram, chakras. Maybe it's this one? No. Okay, so, and also let me go back, you guys, 1 second. Machiwa. All right, you guys, I just want to say, there's no donations yet. So I just need to just say that because I survive. That's part of the way I survive. And so just so you guys know, I lost my truck recently. Before that, YouTube demonetized my YouTube channel. I don't make money on YouTube. And so, and I don't have a second job. And so this is important that I am able to sustain myself and keep on teaching full time. Like I do this every day. So you guys, please, I'm asking for your donations. $5, $10, $20, $50, whatever you feel called to. Everything matters, everything counts. My truck was in liability. So when it was wrecked last week, I didn't get anything from it. So it's a struggle. We're all struggling. I'm just explaining my struggle. And so I'm very grateful for any donations, you guys. I put the PayPal link in chat. It should be linked to the top. I want to make sure I remember to do that. Let me check. I don't think I did, but I'm pinning it right now. Pin message. Okay, I didn't pin it. Now it's pinned in the chat. If you go to the top of chat, or it should be pinned, or look in my description of this video, and there's a link to my PayPal account. Thank you guys. Much love, much respect. And let me check for... So Dimension and Universes, Don Quell, 36. So I think maybe I've explained the dimensions of the universe, but let me do that right now. Specifically. Okay. So these 15 dimensions are levels or frequency levels. Now let me open Cathara. Open Cathara. And even in Cathara, it talks about dimensions. Like, let me search the word dimension. 67 results. Singular dimension. I want to go to where it lists the definition of dimension. Dimensions. Here's the definition in the chapter called Characteristics of the Hologram. Remember I told you it's a hologram of matter? It has scalar fields, morphogenetic fields, and dimensions. So someone was asking about dimensions, and this is telling you that it's frequency bands and what those really are doing. But a dimension, morphogenetic field scalar grids, composed of interwoven layers of scalar waves, which serve to direct the flow of consciousness into multiple patterns of refraction through which the hologram of matter density, linear time, and objectification of reality can be experienced. Dimensions are specific structures of consciousness composed of particle units, which is those ultra microparticles that I mentioned earlier. And they all have differing vibratory oscillation rates, which exist in precise relationship to each other and govern the intrinsic laws of function within the observable manifest worlds. The process of dimensionalization occurs through the wholeness of consciousness compartmentalizing itself into various ordered sections having diversity of vibratory oscillation, through which the wholeness of consciousness may experience itself in an endless variety of forms. Each dimension represents a full frequency band. So since we have 15 dimensions, that means there's 15 frequency bands, which are synchronized, cyclic, repeated sequences of flashing on and off of scalar wavepoints within dimensional scalar grids. And this will go on, and we've been sharing with you the Kathara, this manual, which is 296 pages long. This is the most advanced spiritual science that you will find on planet Earth, bar none. Okay, so it can get very dense and hard to understand, especially if you go straight into the advanced stuff. Like this is the first advanced course out of many. You're going to get into much more advanced courses, but this will help you understand spirituality, understand God, angels, aliens, all this stuff. And so now let me go back to the time matrix. So that question was the difference between dimensions and universes. So these are different frequency bandwidths, as we just showed you the definition of dimensions. Now, universes, each one, as you can see, as I go up, each one is made of 3 dimensions. 3 dimensions. Universe 2. Universe 3 has 3 dimensions. Universe 4 has 3 dimensions. Universe 5 has 3 dimensions. These are harmonic frequency bandwidths. Always the first one in a universe is the bass tone. The middle one is the overtone. So we have bass tone, overtone, and those 2 tones combine, just like in the mechanics of sound or frequency. You combine 2 sounds on a piano, you get a third sound. So the third one is the combination of the first 2 sounds. So we have bass tone, overtone, resonant tone. Bass tone, overtone, resonant tone. It repeats itself throughout all these universes. So each universe is its own system, separate by something called magnetic repulsion zone. Like this is a magnetic repulsion zone, and you can't get to this universe except through this stargates. So imagine this as a spherical universe creation, and you can't get to the other universes except through the stargates, dimensional stargates that take you to those. Like there's going to be, let's say, a D4 stargate in here, and you would take that to get to the 4th dimension, and so on. And so these are the universes of matter density, and it scales as you go up in the frequency. So the lower the frequency in the universes, in the matter forms, means it's much slower particles that are flashing on and off. These would be faster particles flashing on and off. Faster sequences, like you saw in Kathara. Let me see. It might say that right there. Oh, it's hard to explain Kathara in this lecture. I can't sit here and explain it to you, but there is a matter of these particulae breaking apart into 2, and then they return back to the whole. Kind of like one side is particum and base magnetic, and this one's base electric. This is what even creates our doppelganger, our self and our doppelganger. But it also is creating our universe and the antiparticle universe. Just like you see here, this is our universe called the particle matrix, and then it also has a corresponding antiparticle parallel, which is, like I said, base electric oscillation. The one that we're in is base magnetic vibration. And so these two create the whole. And this isn't smaller. I just put it in the back, and just like this isn't smaller, I put it in the back, but it's part of this whole time matrix. And so it takes a little bit of imagination to understand that there's two parts to what we are. Kind of like, remember how the 3D glasses used to work in movie theaters? You put on, and one eye had a red filter, the other eye had a blue filter, but when they combine together, you see the full picture. It's the same thing with the creation. Particle matrix, base magnetic, combined with antiparticle matrix, base electric, creates the entire time matrix. And this is being experienced by part of our identities, while there's a whole other half of our identities on this side. And that goes for all life. We become polarized. What once was particle breaks itself up into particum, particle matrix, and particle, antiparticle matrix. But it's one being split into two experiences. And then they combine together back to their original source. And that's what's happening here. All of these parts are going to combine with these parts and be returned back to source. The omnipolar, not polarized, but including all sides, all polars, the particle and the antiparticle. So it's omnipolar. That's our original state, which is androgynous. You can say female and males are another polarization. You're not originally gender. You're originally male and female in an androgynous form. By density universe 3, you will have no gender. Gender will end. Bodies eventually end. And your perception of individuality eventually ends. A lot changes by the time you get to the etheric matter density. So these are different density matters, to answer your question, and these are frequency bandwidths of those matter densities. That's the difference. And you will hear people using those words interchangeably, but they're not interchangeable. They're not the same thing. A density is different than a dimension. A density is a type of matter universe, and a dimension is a level of frequency bandwidth. So we got these levels of frequency bandwidths creating the first matter density universe. These frequencies are higher, creating the next density matter universe, and so on. And so we're multidimensional beings. Even if we're down here on Earth and don't remember that we're multidimensional and existing in many different space-time continuums, well, that doesn't change the reality that we are multidimensional. So, memory or not, we are all 12-strand, the human race is 12-strand multidimensional beings. There are some of your consciousness in the 12th dimension. You're living lifetimes in the 12th dimension. You're living lifetimes right now in the 11th dimension. There's parts of you, parts of your avatar versions, who are living in the 10th dimension. There are parts of your oversouls, also called archangels, who are living in the 9th dimension, the 8th dimension, the 7th dimension. Some of your consciousness is living at the soul level, or angel level, in the 6th, the 5th, and the 4th dimension. Okay? Just like you have parts of you here. Now, quite frankly, you have 12 of your consciousness, your soul, right, splits itself into 12 fragments in this universe, projects 12 fragments of itself, 12 lifetimes. And so those all have their own free will, and they're all simultaneous, and they're all you. You are all these 12 beings, and these 12 beings are trying to evolve in this and go into the higher consciousness. And so it's a collective effort. It's your family of consciousness effort. You're originally way up here, and you're an avatar that breaks itself into 1,728 selves. And you're going to experience some of them here and half of them over here. Okay? Now, if any of your family of consciousness has fallen, well, some of that consciousness will be tangled up into the phantom matrix anomaly, which is fragmentation that you don't want. It's reverse consciousness. It's a potential for any being who falls into major distortion. And so I'll be explaining that in more detail, but this is, now let me go back here to the Machiwa. And I'm drinking lemon water. I put lemon in my water. So, Machiwa. Oh, the diagram? Yeah, there's remember I told you there's 3 diagrams. I mean, there's 3 types of diagrams. The cheapest would be the digital download. I'm not familiar with pounds, Nikki. We operate with dollars. So yeah, there's 3 levels. It depends on what you get. The digital download, or the poster, or the wall tapestry. So yeah, still no donations you get yet, you guys. At least one donation, at least, you guys, because I'm doing this all for you. This is my full-time job. I'm working for you guys. So let me see if there's any more questions. No? Oh, thank you, Celine. Good to see you, Celine, by the way. A question from Latra. Will all humans ascend physically to density 2 after death? No. Ascension is always a individual process. Ascension isn't about just being good, right? Being good is a good thing, but that's not how you ascend. Ascension always has been, always will be, an individual process. Every single individual has free will and is making their own decisions. Okay? So you're not getting free passes. There's nobody else doing your ascension work. Only you and your consciousness is the one who's growing, expanding, or falling, distorting, fragmenting, based on what you choose with your free will and your life experiences. So that is some distorted idea, a belief out there in the new age, thinking we're all going to ascend, or even people in the secret space program say we're all going to awaken. Okay, so the secret space program isn't the same thing as spiritual ascension. So, and not everybody is awakening. Some people don't care about any of this spiritual stuff, don't believe in it, are not going to believe in it, will die before they ascend or expand and go and reincarnate. And so it's about reincarnating. Our reincarnation is based on your chakra development, your DNA strand development. Remember that the chakras are your DNA strands. And so they're the keys. The way that Creator, God, made the time matrix. The Templar, the chakra, is what is you're developing. You develop these chakra are the levels of your consciousness, of your multidimensional consciousness. See, you're trying to have your lower consciousness rise, evolve upwards, back to its original avatar self. But some of these lower incarnations can be blocked through karma or through manipulation by other beings. Remember, we are those other beings too. We are Atlanteans, but we're also Lemurians. We're also Aryans and Muvarians and Chechi. We're also angels and archangels and avatars. We're Solar Rishi. We're Ascended Masters. Okay, so karma is individual, but karma is also part of the collective. There's also planetary karma. There's galactic karma. There's universal karma. So karma affects your current existence, wherever you're stationed. If you're stationed here with me and us, your brothers and sisters, we're here in the third dimension. So other of yourselves in the third dimension, because you have 12 selves in the first universe, in your immediate family. In your greater family, you have 144 selves. So you have a much larger connection. But we tend to talk in the immediate family. You have 12 other selves in different timelines. Okay? You're not going to run into your other selves because they're in a total different time vector. Okay? It's spaced out over time. You're in this time. Well, your other self is in a past time. Your other self could be in a future time. In the first universe timelines. Okay? And so we're trying to reclaim those timelines, we're trying to awaken our lower selves to go into, a spiritual lessons of this universe and, awaken our DNA memory or abilities, and then go on to the next lesson. Kind of like you go from kindergarten, you learn everything you can until you go into first grade. Now you're a new student in first grade. Now you're going to learn everything from the first grade teaching and then go into the second grade. It's kind of like that. You're literally learning new experiences and becoming more aware of the universe and yourself and all the other parts of you and parts of God. And the more that you expand, you're ascending. But you do not share that with everybody else. You can't have the entire planet ascend together. It doesn't happen. It doesn't work that way. Everybody has to awaken their own chakras. You can't borrow that. You can't steal that. You can't have someone do that for you. You have to do the hard work. And yes, it is hard work because of what we're in now, a human drama playing out. The final conflict between these intruder, fallen angelic, malevolent, extraterrestrial races. There's many of them. I make many videos about these beings, from the Anunnaki, all the different Anunnaki, Inky, Enlil, Marduk Anunnaki, Samyasi Anunnaki, to the reptilians, the Omicrons, the Dragomoths, the dragons, the Dedicron, winged reptilians, to the Dracos, to all the insectoid beings, the tall greys, the short greys, the Zephlihim. All these different races are all these different life fields. Okay, realize that we're in this big, huge creation. God is great, but there's all kinds of spectrum of life, all kinds of agendas, all kinds of intentions, all kinds of individuals and groups and families and cultures and peoples and there's councils, there's all kinds of, there's guardians, but there's also phantom beings, okay, fallen angels, demonic beings, malevolent beings. So we're in this war, and they're doing everything they can to make us forget that we're part of this huge family of consciousness, to make it look like you're a sinner and you're just a lowly being that needs help, and you're pathetic and you're going to go to some eternal judgment if you don't do this or that or that. That is part of this spiritual bondage on earth. Okay, we're meant, those billions of humans who believe in that, those religious systems of subservience and worship, they forgot that they're part of the source. They're part of God. They forgot this whole family, multidimensional family of consciousness and identity. And there's reasons why we forgot. It has to do with blocks in our DNA. It has to do with things that we create distortions within our bodies, within our emotions, within our psychologies, our mental thinking, in our spiritual aspects. We can have all these different distortions that are creating us to forget, that are disempowering us. We're not remembering who we are. We have trouble remembering, what we did yesterday, much less what our previous lifetime was. You see what I'm saying? And so it's not easy down here. It is a challenge. It looks like we have one question here. From Paulette, are the stargates located based on harmonic music tones or frequencies, such as C major chord? That's a good question. It's not exactly how you think of it that way, but this is, they talk about the stargates. Let me show you what is stargate, which is star tetrahedron. One pyramid is facing up, one's down, and they're a star tetrahedron geometry, and they're spinning at specific rates. Okay, they're speed, rate, and there's something called angular rotation of particle spin. But let me bring this up. It's also on my website that you guys can download this. So let me switch to the PDF for you. Stargates and portals. Activate the counter-rotating electromagnetic spiral pair. So it's electromagnetic energy, okay? That's what the energy that we're talking about. Merges from the Merkaba vehicle. Its center becomes a form constant, still point, that links various space-time locations directly to each other, creating a trans-time bridge. So it talks about how they spin and how they can go at different angles, different axis spiral pairs. And then you have the different there's stargates in your, well, that's what chakras are. They're stargates. So there's personal stargates, there's planetary stargates, there's galactic stargates and universal stargates. This is electromagnetic frequency. So so you wouldn't say it's sound-based, but more of light-based, frequency-based, electromagnetic-based. And those frequencies are at different particle spin and angular rotation of. They don't show the angular rotation really, but on this diagram. So let me see if it's actually mentioned in Stargate. Stargates. Wave spectra. Light spectra. Interharmonic light spectra. So it would be more of light than sound, to answer your question. So the wave spectra, and this is also part of your ability to, you're developing these different levels of yourself so you can go through these stargates. I want to see if biological stargate seals, like I told you, there's personal chakras. Planetary chakras. And each of these stargates are chakras, there's a seal on them. You learn about the signet star crystal seals. You'll learn techniques to activate those, you guys. That's why I encourage you guys to learn these. Yeah, as you can see, it's based on light, not sound, just to answer your question. Here's all the different light frequencies of the stars, the stargates and the crystal seals. A red star, orange star, yellow stargate, green stargate, blue stargate. This is light. This isn't sound tones. Violet star, gold star, silver star, blue black star, silver black star, white stars, turquoise, and those are pale turquoise, pale yellow, pale magenta. Chihuahua. Thank you guys. And we got Tamara. Thank you, Tamara, for that first donation. Blessings to you. Blessings. So grateful for you that you're holding space with us, that you're one of our brothers and sisters in this community. So thank you. Thank you for this teaching. Thank you, Holy One. Yes! Woohoo! So I'm so grateful at least one person donated today. Much respect. Thank you for that exchange of energy. Blessings. So, yeah, so it looks like we got... Oh, okay. Kirsten Loves. Yeah, it's in the description of the video. I put all that information in the description. I guess people don't look at the description. That has all my info, my contact info, all my different sites, and including the diagram, I believe. Let me double check. Yeah, the link is in there. I gave 3 links to my diagram. I'll give you guys the digital diagram in chat. And the moderators, if you could please save these links. There's the digital. Here's the poster version. And here's the tapestry version. Machiwa. You're welcome, Kristen. Thank you, sister, for being here. Good to see you, by the way. I gotta keep hydrated. I didn't even light my incense, did I? Let me do that real quick, guys. Yeah, baby, what's up? So, man, I want to talk about how we go inside and then we project ourselves down into from the highest level to the lowest. So, and since we're the lowest, we're not really doing that the same way, but every single thought that you have is going somewhere. Think about that one. Thoughts are things. So everything has a Cathara grid or a Merkaba. A thought has a Cathara grid, a Merkaba. And in the Cathara Biospiritual Healing, we teach the science of Merkaba. It's introduced in Cathara 1, and it goes into more detail in Cathara 2, 3, and 4. And just so you know, there is a lot of false light teaching reverse Merkaba in the New Age. And just so you know, the New Age is being run by the fallen angelic Jehovah Anunnaki. It's not my opinion. It's not my personal research. That's coming straight from the Guardian teachings. So you can agree or disagree. You have that divine gift of free will. Machiwa. So, in the time matrix, we have consciousness put itself, Janus consciousness, ascended master consciousness, puts a piece of itself, not its whole self, puts a piece of itself into an avatar in the time matrix. The avatar projects its consciousness into the lower dimensions as oversouls, as archangels. Those oversouls, archangels, project their consciousness into lower beings in the second universe, souls or angels. See, this is why the concept of soul is distorted in most people's understanding. The soul is not something inside your body per se, or something that can be lost or stolen or traded, or that's ridiculous. It's a level of your existing consciousness in the second universe. That is what is the soul. But know that you have an oversoul family of consciousness. It's a collective consciousness. This is your ray, your soul ray, your soul level of consciousness. It's a collective. It's not people, person. It's a family or a network of consciousness. And so I want to show on the diagram how this is happening and how you get 144. There's two ways to calculate it. Some of it has to do with the round tables, the rounds that the indigos are coming through. But also I realized there is something in MST, Master Stewardship Initiative. Oh, MSI, Master Stewardship Initiative PDF. So, which is very, very interesting. MST, Masters, what? Maybe I don't have it on my server. Okay, that's fine too. So let me open it. 1 second, guys. Right? Okay. Master Stewardship Initiative, which is actually awesome PDF. So let me switch to you guys, because I'll be going between this and the diagram. Let me see if I got it bookmarked. No, okay. No, it's not this. So let me see. If I copy one of these words, I can find it. I bet you if I copy this word, I'll find it. One of these words like this. Well, not the whole diagram, buddy. Well, I'll just type in Watchayanis. Hey, hello, McFly. What's up, dude? Okay. Watcha. Let me go to the top of the diagram of this PDF and then put Watcha. Okay. There we go. Okay. All right. So, sorry about the highlighting. I highlighted this stuff a long time ago. So, the 8 Huva bodies. I wonder if this is what I was looking for, though. This doesn't have singular soul matrix identity. A singular incarnate level, a set of 12. There we go. So you're one of 12. You're always going to be one of 12 in the time matrix. You're always one of 12 of something higher. So here we are from the lowest level, and I'll explain to you what is a Huva body. But also, let me go to Cathara and show you the original time matrix. Let me see, all tools, edit or organize pages. Here's Cathara. Like, here's the original time matrix. You know, it's not the same as my time matrix. I mean, it's not as complicated. It's not as, what's the word? I mean, this one has got a lot more information on it compared to the one in Cathara. You know, it talks about those ascended master levels, but it doesn't tell you anything else. You would have to find it throughout the teachings. that there is the cosmic mind, the different names of the different minds, and that it's the same as the primal sound fields, the Kundalini life force, all these other references. So, I mean, you can learn from this. We all learned from this originally, but there's so much more that can help you understand easier, better. And so that was the point why I ended up making a much more profound time matrix diagram. Well, this is the original one, 15-dimensional time matrix with 5 harmonic universes. Okay? Now, okay, so Huva bodies. Now let's see the Huva bodies in Cathara. So you see the diagram, because I haven't made a diagram for that, but a diagram. Oh, come on. There it is. I think. Well, it doesn't show it, but we have these different parts of our energetic anatomy of the Cathara grid within our own bodies. We have the different shields. That's what a shield is. It's there's 5 of them, which connect you to the 5 universes, and then you have the chakras that connect you to all the dimensions. And so these are all the chakras, and then there's the Huva bodies. You would say an energetic body that goes around your, like 3 chakras will make one of these Huva bodies. Let me go here. Chakra 1, chakra 2, chakra 3 create Huva body 1. This would be one of your parts of your intrinsic energetic anatomy. Okay, Huva body 1 includes the first 3 dimensions. Huva body 2 would include all of this, okay? And then the Huva body 3 would include all this level. So all these combined beings, and the third one is your Huva body 3, and all the ones in this level are all the beings in the Huva body 2, Huva body 1. And so those are parts of your consciousness that you can connect to, like a collective overall identity. Like if you connected all your identities in here, that would be your Huva body 1, which do have names. I haven't memorized all the names, but they're called Nada Huva, Alfi Huva, Betcha Huva, Mahara Huva, Raha Huva. So I'm just showing you basically what this was trying to say. Density 1, first universe, dimensions 1, 2, and 3. Okay? One of these incarnate identities in one carbon matter based biological form in one of density 1 harmonic universe time vector. A singular identity is called a Taran. And if you look in my time matrix diagram, I put it right here, Taran. One of you, one Taran, okay? You are here in 2026 with me and our brothers and sisters. We are one Taran of the 12. So you're one Taran, and each singular Taran is one in a set of 12 Taran. Okay? 12 Taran. So you're going to get this number 12 times 12 times 12 times 12. There's the 12 is the divine number according to the Guardians. So each placed within different. Remember, I told you you're not going to run into your other Tarans, your other 12 selves, because they're all in different space-time coordinates, which collectively, your 12 Tarans will collectively form a soul matrix in density 2 time continuum. So reverse this. So that means one soul is projecting 12 Tarans. Okay? So back to this thing, this time matrix, where it says individual mind, it's an individual Taran. And you have 11 other Tarans who exist here. And by the way, 6 of those are male, 6 of them are female. You're not always male. You're not always female. You're going to alternate between male, female, male, female, male, female, male, female, male, female. 6 pairs, which create soulmates and twin flames. There's only one soulmate out there. There's only one twin flame out there. I mean, for you in your current state and your in current location in space-time, you have one other half of yourself. I hope you find yours. I found mine. Her name is Julia. I love you, baby. And so these, this is a complex explanation. I mean, concept, but I'm trying to break it down for you. And you actually have 8 of these collectives of called Huva bodies. But this is the smallest Huva body. Let me see. This is one Huva body. You have another Huva body. 2. This is a Huva body. 3. Collective consciousness. 4. 5. 6. 7. 8 Huva bodies. 8 collectives of your consciousness. Notice they're all within each other. They're all enconched within each other. You are a freaking spiritual badass. You're not just a human on Earth. You're not just a Taran. Okay? You are what's called, you will find what's called a Dora Huva collective. You are a Tura Huva collective. That means all. I'm sorry. I gotta switch to the. I gotta switch to this stupid thing. Oh man, get off of this. What the shit? Oh my gosh. Okay, it went off. Okay. So you have all these different collective versions of you that make up the full version of you. That's what this is trying to explain. So you have 12 Tarans that make up your soul. So basically your soul creates 12 Tarans. So you have one soul is your immediate family. You see, your 12 Tarans is your immediate family. But the truth is, you actually have 12 souls that are creating. So 12 times 12 would be 144. So you actually live 144 times in density universe 1 or holographic universe 1, however you want to call it. But technically, you also have 144 in the anti-particle matrix. So that's 288 selves at this level. At the first universe level, you have 288. Same with this. Add another 288. Another 288. Another 288. But these ones are 144 and 144. So I don't know if I can share my calculator. Let me see, calculator. And let's see if I can share that. I don't know if you guys can. You can't see my calculator, right? So I don't know how to share the dang calculator. But okay, if you take 144 here, and I'll just start adding it on my calculator. And you guys can open a calculator and do this with me. Okay, 144. And then there's going to be, let me make sure you guys can see me. I don't want to look like I'm blocked or anything. Just checking. Yeah, okay. So you have 144 plus 144 plus 144 plus 144 plus 144 and then 144 here equals 720. So since there is a parallel and you have all those duplicated here, just times 2. times 2 equals 1,440. So you're already at 1,440. So now you're going to add 144 here, 144 here. Plus 144 plus 144 equals 1728. 1728. This is the number I told you at the beginning of tonight's live. Let's go to Voyager's 1. Oh, we'll do it in Cathara 2. So no, Voyager's 2, I mean. And type in wait, what was it? Oh, this number 1728, that's what I was going to look up. 1728. It's mentioned 33 times. I like that number. You're going to live all these lifetimes. You have all these codes from each one, which will add up to all these different codes. But what I'm trying to show you is an example. That's how many incarnations you have. But it also has to do with your encryption codes, which is related to ascension and all that. You see how if every single person has a different amount of activated codes, there's no way in hell everybody's going to be ascending. Okay? Everybody's at different levels, man. It's always an individual process. Well, here we go. Every human incarnate is part of a larger family of incarnated selves called the personal Christos. The personal Christos is the eternal personal identity that includes 1,728 simultaneous incarnations, each placed within various space-time locations, or time vectors are called, within the 4 rounds of the cycle of rounds. And so, this is what this is talking about. You're going to have, it started to say 12, but the soul level has 12 souls, so that's going to be 12 times 12, 144, 144 at the first Huva body level. You're going to have 144 in the first universe. Okay? 144. So you're a huge family, man, a consciousness. You're a spiritual badass. This is why I always call you guys holy ones, because we are holy ones. We're freaking got 1,728 selves in our personal Christos. 1,728 different beings, incarnates. You're not just human, homie. Look, human is limited to density 2 and 1. This is where human is. So your Huva body up here is not human. This Huva body is not human. This Huva body is not human. There is no beings like humans in these levels. So this is called the Tarans. Now the next universe, the second universe, second density, dimensions 4 through 6, you're called a Dora. And the 12 Doras, so a singular soul matrix identity, is called a Dora. And each singular identity is one in a set of 12 Dora, each placed within different density 2 space-time coordinates. Okay? Race family of consciousness. This is called the Alpha Huva body. So you have the Nada Huva body, and all those 144 selves. You got the Alpha Huva body. Once again, this is the Alpha Huva body, and the Nada, and the gosh, I got to remember all these names, but Nada, and you have all this consciousness in one available to you. When you turn on your chakras, activate your higher consciousness, you will perceive these levels, these 144 or 288 and beyond. Okay, so the Alpha Huva, but the Alpha Huva goes into the Betcha huva body level of your identities. Those are called Terra, Tura, Tura. And you're going to eventually, you have a set of 12 Tura. And those go into the avatar level called Mahara huva body. So one of these is called a Mahara. One of your Christos avatar, like a Christos avatar is a Mahara. And these go, and this is, you have these levels, connections to the Solar Rishi. So you have 12 avatars that make up one of your Solar Rishi bodies, which remember I told you are hot plasma. They're spherical like suns. So you are a sun. I am a sun. We all have suns identities. As a matter of fact, you have 12 singular Brenoa. They're called. These are called Brenoa. And if you look at my time matrix diagram, which I'm selling, I told you, you will see that you have a Brenoa. You have a Brenoa collective huva body. You have a Mahara. You have a Tura. You have a Dora. You have a Taran. And these are all simultaneous multidimensional identities. Specifically, the 1,728 identities in the time matrix. So, tonight's topic is explaining what the time matrix is, what consciousness is, how we're multidimensional beings, and we have all these different body matters. We haven't touched matter density yet. So you go from this carbon matter huva, not a huva body, right? All these bodies are made of carbon matter. We're experiencing mortality and death. Eventually, you become immortal. By the time you get to this universe, you don't age. You're not going to get wrinkled skin. You're not going to eat food. You're going to eat air. So you don't have to poop and pee because you're not eating food anymore. Now you're eating air to sustain yourself, to sustain your immortal body. And that's just the next level. There's greater bodies where and this is called super consciousness. So this level is called your individual personal consciousness. Eventually, you're going to have a super consciousness where it's the race, the collective human consciousness. You will be able to telepathically know everybody's thoughts. Everybody will, not just some special people. Everybody will have a super conscious mind in the second universe, in your carbon crystal body, and you're going to be immortal. You can still die. Immortal doesn't mean you can't die. It means you can't die from aging, but you could be murdered still. Your body's not, what's that word? You still can be killed some other way. So, but not through the process of aging, because you don't age anymore. You're not going to experiencing dying that way, or going through a toddler, a baby, a toddler, or a teenager, or a young adult to an aged adult. You're going to always be persistently a beautiful, perfect, human-looking being, angelic human, Turnesium. So this is just one carbon. Etheric matter turns into etheric matter, which is more like a ghost-like energy, body matter. And these are explained also in Cathara. Let me see if I did carbon. Let me see. This is one diagram. Let me see the other diagrams. See if it shows you those different levels. That talks a little bit, maybe. Let me find another one. Huva bodies. Merkaba fields. And we give this to you for free, you guys. This is I'm way down at the bottom. Maybe if I go up at the top. All the different Cathara centers, Cathara points. I remember Celine was studying this too. And you don't just have 12 chakra, you have all the other Kathara centers, which are basically minor chakras. They tell you where they're at. Like this one's 6 inches above your head. There's one where your pineal gland, center of brain, in the brain, behind the ears, in thyroid gland, 8 chakra, spark of Orion, in the shoulder indents through the back, at the navel, in central body current, your prana tube. The doll, males, it's the ureters, female, the ovaries. And then this one's is at the prostate gland or vagina. And then at the center of Earth is the 13th chakra, Kathara point, which is connecting you to all these identities that we just mentioned, your personal Christos. It teaches you how to facilitate healing in Kathara. I'm still in page 200. Let me go. I need to go way up. Oh, I see. Anyways, you guys, there's also something called subdimensions. I forgot to mention that. Like you have your 5 universes, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and each one has 3 dimensions each, but each dimension itself has 3 sub-frequency bands. So you could be living life in one of these 36 sub-frequency bands in universe 1, and then there's other sub-frequency bands in all the higher universes. So you can be all over the place, you guys. You could be living life here in different frequency bands. Maybe your twin flame is in a different sub-frequency band. So you got to find each other through awakening your consciousness to higher frequency bands. Anyways, Machiwa. Let me double check for questions. I don't see any from... Okay, so nothing there. All right. So only one person donated tonight. I guess so. So you guys, let me check in on chat. Drop of Kristen loves. Yeah, she's talking about the split in the shield. What's up, homies? Giannis. Thank you, sister. Thank you, sweetheart. Yeah, we all have 1,728, you guys. And so these are just different levels that we experience in creation. Different, it's like very interesting when you think about it. They're going to go through all these different body types. Some of it's like ghost-like, and some of it's real physical. Some of it's, not just humanoids or hominids or insectoids or reptilians or whatever kind of life form. We have these different bodies. We have these different identities. We have these different experiences. This is why a lot of us are relating to some of these extraterrestrial races, because we're coming from some of those races in our higher identities. And you can, you benefit from having this awareness and connection to your higher identities, because it can help you in this life and this spiritual awakening and ascension process. So these teachings go through that whole... First of all, you're learning how to heal yourself, but you're also learning how to expand yourself by running frequency where you need it in your light body. And so you'll learn how to draw in certain frequencies and send it to different parts where needed. But you also can just work on these different chakras, which are different levels of your consciousness. Like the green ray, heart chakra, the blue ray, throat chakra. That's a higher consciousness that you can connect to, that you're existing here in this dimension, the fifth dimension. I don't mean your throat. I'm talking about that chakra that connects you to the fifth dimension in your throat. It's a doorway, a stargate to that awareness, to that memory. Your fifth dimensional memories, which are, from this point of view, the future. You can remember other periods of time on different planets. You can remember when you were a female, when you were a male, when you were a short person, when you were a giant, when you had wings, when you had scales or antenna. Okay, you go through all these different stages of yourself, through the different huva bodies, through the different manifestation templates. Because this template has 12 strands of DNA. Maybe you have an Orifeme that's 24 strands of DNA, or an Azurite that has 48 strands, or an Anuhazi with 48 strands. You see, we have all these different identities that make up who you are. So many people ask, who am I? Can you do a reading? When they can go within themselves, it's all connected. Once you develop that understanding of how to do it, I would say work on these three chakra: the heart, the throat, the third eye. Work on the indigo ray, the blue ray, and the green ray. There's techniques. In Kathara, they call it triadic phase currents, and you will be visualizing the balls. Triadic phase currents have to do with the Dora level, the soul level. You will this is why the color is important. If you want to get the color correct. You want to know what is blue, what is red, what is yellow, what is orange, what is indigo, what is pale turquoise. These are all levels and connections to your consciousness in the time matrix. So it's not, and some people think we're in a simulation. We're not in a simulated reality. This is reality. It's based on consciousness and primal light fields. It's based on light spectra. It's scalar science. And we learn how to focus on our own multidimensional identities, how to expand it, how to ascend, spiritually ascend. The goal is to spiritually ascend throughout the time matrix. We go from one level, one dimension, one universe, into another level dimension universe, into new bodies and new opportunities, new relations. And what we're doing is we're also reclaiming that once upon a time we knew all this information. But as you expand and ascend into the higher levels of yourself, you're going to remember. You know everything. The lower selves do not. The lower selves are in the lower potentiality, but realize you're always in the moment, every moment. You're always an ascended master. You're always in a Janus, eternal gestalt of consciousness in the Kundurei fields, in the cosmos. We're trying to reclaim that memory and connection. Because if you come in here as an ascended master, or as an archangel, or as an angel, okay, that benefits you, and it benefits the race. That powerful Jeshua, Sananda Melchizedek, was a Christos avatar, came to our earth and helped to change the world. Okay, that's what we're doing. We're these massive collectives of consciousness, trying to squeeze it into a body in the third dimension, which has blocks and has distortions. So we're trying to heal those distortions and reclaim our true consciousness. Otherwise, we're just experiencing a little fragment of consciousness of our true self, our true potential. We want to, and so the more time that you spend in running these frequencies, running techniques, and meditating and doing breath work, and the more time you spend that, the faster your process of awakening and ascension is going to go. So I'm truly grateful for you guys hanging out with me tonight. What's up, Vato Locos? Yeah, you guys. Giannis, what's up, baby? Voya de Toya. I was wondering, is there any information available on homoluminous beings? Not in the Emerald Order teachings. I don't know where you got that from. I've never heard of that before. Homoluminous. Interesting. I mean, from the sound of it, it sounds like a New Age distortion or something, but it's a spiritual and philosophical concept describing the next step in human evolution, which is not accurate. Our next step in human evolution is the astral body, astral consciousness, not some homoluminous thing. Our next state of consciousness is the fifth dimensional archetype, and then the sixth dimensional celestial. Okay, that's density 2. So I don't know where this comes from that you're asking about. Let me see if it states the source. Oh, it's coming from someone in New Age called Alberto Velado. New Age, representing a collective awakening and a transition. And we're not having a collective awakening. Like, that's what I explained earlier. There's no such thing. That's a lovely concept that we're all awakening, but we're not. And you can just take a look in the world. Look in the world. Are we all awakening? Are we all within the law of one? Are we all, or, that it's not true because there is 8 billion plus humans stuck in religions. If it's not 8 billion, it's like 7 billion, because we know that there's 2 billion in Christianity. There's a 1.5 billion in Islam. There's almost 1.5 billion in Hinduism. All these false religious teachings. So we're not all awakening, like this author Alberto says, I guess, apparently. Equinexus. I have a question. I used to use clipping to watch Black Key moments for the live stream. I don't know what that means, what you mean by back key. But I recently noticed you're no longer able to do this. I'm not sure. Is that like a YouTube app thing you're talking about? Oh, she posted that twice. I don't know. But I don't know if it's related. But I've had people saying they're not getting notifications when I go live. That's because I'm shadow banned. Now YouTube won't admit that, and because they don't want people knowing these shadow ban people. So, but when I got other people confirming it by saying they're not getting notifications, many people have said that. When I have that, it's supposed to tell everybody that's one of my subscribers that turn on the notification, but they're not getting notified because I'm shadow banned. I don't know if that's related to your question. I'm sorry if it's not. I just don't know what you're saying, but yeah, you might want to maybe just Google some search on what to resolve that. I don't know what that clipping is that you're talking about. Machiwa. Yeah, of course, you guys. Thank you so much for being here tonight with me, you guys. And I will be in Las Vegas in October, and I will be teaching this, but much more better presentation. Like I have to I have to prepare a really good presentation. Oh, it says 11:55 average view duration. I like that number, Machiwa. But yeah, you guys, please come to Vegas. You want to come to Vegas? It's not just about me either. There's a whole bunch of people speaking. So, and you might change your life, and plus you'll probably meet a lot of friends. I know me and Julia have. We just went to a few, and we've already met a lot of people. And so, come if you really want to know more about this topic. You can watch some of my other videos. You can also watch the Emerald Order workshops that talk about it, like Kathara. She goes into much more complicated stuff than I do. I'm just trying to, cover as much as I can in 2 hour time or whatever. So, but it's actually a 20-hour workshop that she teaches that in. But thank you guys for being with me tonight. Thank you to the moderators and to all you regulars. And thank you to the one single person who donated tonight. Actually, someone else just donated. So thank you to Tamara, but also now thank you to Corey. Machiwa Corey, yes! Much love, Holy One. You guys, last minute donations, because we're going to be closing the live soon. But thank you so much, Corey. And they also made a message. Hey, brother Enhazi, do you know the significance of 111222 in the Freedom Teachings? They don't talk about the angel numbers in Kathara. I've never heard Ashiana mention that. And usually when someone asks a question that is not in the teachings, I double check with Lisa Renee. Now, I don't agree with everything she says, so that, that requires discernment. I'm just trying to see if she mentions that at all. I mean, there must be something to those numbers besides 144. They do talk about 144, of course, and 12s and all that. I don't see her talking about it either. But when you think about it, when you think about these numbers, like how often they will come up in your day and that you'll see it. There's something to these numbers, you guys. And I have them constantly. Julia has them. Between the two of us, we're getting a bunch of numbers every day. And we all do. All of you guys, brothers and sisters who are awakening. It's to me, it's one of those confirmations from your higher consciousness, kind of like, sending these kind of like a little text message to you, 222, 144. You're on the right track, or you're not on the right track. So that's what I would say to that, because I don't see any of that being talked about in the Kathara teachings. So, or I mean the Emerald Order teachings. But you're not alone. There's several of us who are experiencing those too. And if you check, the odds of that happening, the odds are astronomical. There's no way that can happen by coincidence. You're not going to have this continuous coincidences when numbers are going to be off the chart. Like, obviously, there's something special to it. So, I'm not following all of the numerology, New Age type of explanations for that, but I would say just use your own discernment to understand what that means to you, right? Drop a flame gets 222 all day. Yeah, we get a lot of ones. I get a ton of ones, but like if I look in my chat with Julia just today. This is just today between me and her. Because we do this back and forth with each other all the time, every day. 555. Right before I did the live, I wrote that to her. I got 222, and you were just asking about 222 today. I also got 144 today. 144, 222, 555. I'm looking earlier in the day. Usually we have a lot more than that. We got 222 in the morning and 144 and one in the I'm talking about 222 a.m. I got 144 a.m. And I just got those numbers today. And what I'm saying is, you guys will see these patterns of certain numbers. They mean something, for sure. They're positive, not negative. And I can't help but to notice, certain things like threes, a lot of threes. And so 333 is a number that I love too. And because it really, I don't know, you feel that confirmation kind of like from your higher self or the universe, right? On the regular, homie. When there's people like in your own family they have nothing like that happening, but it's happening to you and all your other awakening friends, you know something's up. Thank you guys for hanging with us tonight. Much love, much respect to all of you. I hope to see you guys on Tuesday on my next live. Now, I plan on having Arcturus Raw. I don't know all of his teachings. I guess we're going to learn about some of his ideas and teachings. I'm going to have him on the show because I met him in Sedona. Me and Julia met him and his wife. And he has a bigger channel than I do. I don't know about all his channels. Like I have over 1 million on all my channels. But we'll see how it goes. We have different people on the show, and it doesn't mean I agree with them. And don't lynch me if you don't like certain people that I interview. It doesn't reflect on me because I'm not teaching those same concepts they are, but we can talk about the things that we both agree on. And so I think Arcturus Raw might want to talk about AI in a positive way. So let's hear our brother out and see what he has to say about it, and you can decide if you agree or not. But we're going to be having a discussion about certain topics. I don't know if that'll be Tuesday. We're still trying to find a date for both of us. But there's also plenty of other people I want to interview. But right now, I just want to make rent. And I notice when I do interviews, nobody donates because they're not thinking about donating. So that's one of my issues so far. But I thank you guys. Much love, much respect to all of you. Thank you for those hearts, whoever's doing the hearts. Shaddai Ude Akuntan. Shaddai Ude Akuntan. Shaddai Ude Akuntan. Machiwa. Thank you guys for being with me tonight. Brothers and sisters of Christic Light, what's up? Spiritual G's. I love you guys. Omni Christos love. I'll see you on Tuesday. Enjoy the rest of your evening. Oh, Saturday. Sorry. I'll see you on Saturday. Machiwa.